Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Bede.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. The morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Streaker, Spreaker, and more. Actually, I think there's no Streaker. I just like to put that in there for rhyming's sake. But anyways, I'm so glad that you're tuned in this morning. This my 673rd consecutive week on the air. And this is podcast number 1357, I believe, but who's counting? And as you can see, I am back in studio. I had a wonderful time. Dr. Marissa reporting live in San Diego. Got to do some disco dancing. You'll see it on my social today before driving back last night. And oh gosh, I know exactly what I'm going to start with gratitude sandwich. But for those of you who are just joining me for the first time, welcome. And if you free subscribe, hit that button below. Give me the finger, not that finger, but this finger. I'm welcoming you to my Happy 88 tribe and mission. 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. Somebody asked, when did I start that? I am going to be dying and going back into love when I pass on. And the 8 years is a rolling year. So this is going to continue until I am in the other side. That's why there is no start date on this. I think I did officially start the Happy 88 mission maybe I want to say a dozen years ago. And it was actually an 8 million mark. And I hit that in 2019 because I was on some very high volume, millions of viewers shows in the Philippines and in China. So we had to make it a little more challenging. So I changed it to 88 million, I think, a couple of years ago. So there's a story behind that. It is not Throwback Thursday today because I have several, not one, but two public service public service interviews that I wanted to bring to you today. And I'll introduce those and talk about those after we have breakfast today. Those of you who are veterans, we're honoring veterans today. That's one of them. We don't have to do it on November 11th or Memorial Day. We can do it anytime. So we are going to be doing that. But those of you who are, I see the eyeballs rolling in, welcome. You know the drill. The top of the show is breakfast. You're going to have breakfast with me. And what that instills is taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. Top of the bun is things that we are grateful for that are outside of ourselves. Bottom of the bun is things that we're grateful for inside of ourselves. And the reason why we do this is to anchor and to highlight the fact that this show does not talk about whatever's on the news right now. In fact, I just removed the news app from my phone even. I have not had a TV in 10 years. I don't listen to the news. I am happily making my own news so that I am not tempted to have a knee-jerk reaction guaranteeing me that I'm a jerk, or to succumb to the media weapon of mass distraction on whatever some producer wants me to focus on. usually something to do with either natural disaster, non-natural disaster like the government, and three, the worst things that people do to people. So those are three themes that I do not touch on the show. Not to say that I won't talk about things that we are challenged to fix, but I will not talk about homelessness and how horrible it is and who's to blame. Instead, I will talk about homelessness and bring a guest on like Doors of Change, an organization in San Diego that takes homeless youth off the street. So if you're not happy with any of those standards that I keep on this show, you are welcome to go and tune into every other media that's out there right now talking about those things and blaming and shaming. But I have managed to make it beyond the 1 year mark that people said I would only last a year if I didn't talk about the headlines, and we're almost at 13 years now. So there. Let's see. I am grateful for, let's see, my number one, above all gratitude is that going to Secret Knock in San Diego, I was not only able to hug, and I'll show you, probably posted tomorrow, I'm going to do a whole little story on him, my red carpet dance partner, Colt Breed, who had a horrific accident. And no one really, except his extremely faith-based and determined parents, didn't think that he was going to ever walk or talk or anything again. And so my number one huge gratitude is that Colt is not only walking and talking. He did my red carpet dance with me in front of the Step and Repeat. He actually came and spoke on my live yesterday. So those of you who missed that, that was a nice surprise. I wasn't expecting that, but he came up there, perfect timing. And then also I got to talk to one of the holistic medicine people who helped with his recovery. So all of those will be continuing to come up, but I wanted to top my gratitude list. That was definitely, bar none, the highlight of covering on location Secret Knock in San Diego. My second gratitude, actually that takes about 7 right there. My other gratitude is, as usual, Greg puts on the most incredible, like, hearing and seeing and meeting and interviewing some incredible people that will be guests on my show. I already have someone who is going to be coming on live on Earth Day, and I'm not going to tell you because you're going to have to go to my social to see who that is, see if you are connected to me socially on Doc Balance or Dr. Marissa everywhere else, and you'll see her beautiful, very vibrant being. And so I'm excited about that. I got to meet Frank DeBrosio, who is the man in the Iron Mask, longest running opera. He sang the Phantom role in Phantom of the Opera. Just incredible guy. Got a little sound bite from him, but got to hear. I've never heard anybody sing sitting down so well. I don't think I've ever heard anybody sing sitting down, period. But he was just incredible. So lots of stuff there. I'll bring you more and more. Actually, we might have some time today, and I'll pop up some of these things that I'm talking about. But back to the gratitude sandwich. Let's see. One, I'm grateful that I have a car that I can zip. I love my Panda car. It's a little Mazda Miata, white, black, Panda looking sportsmobile that I get to zip back and forth when I go to San Diego, and I had a safe drive back. I'm grateful that I could sleep in my incredibly comfortable bed. There's something about your home bed that is just as delicious as your first sip of coffee. So that's going to round up the top of the bun. My gratitudes for today. The bottom of the bun is gratitudes turned inwards. And those of you who are as familiar and students of the law of attraction as per Abraham Hicks, not The Secret, but Abraham Hicks, you'll know that appreciation is almost a stronger feeling, a stronger vibration than gratitude. Gratitude is, usually people, places, and things. Appreciation for me is gratitude turns inwards, and how I anchor my own mental health and take responsibility for my mental health. And so I am appreciative of the way that I am in the right place at the right time, even though I'm not a big right and wrong, because I don't want to beat myself up or should myself. But when I say, what now, brown cow, when I start my day with meditation to hook into and to connect to that power that creates the world, and make sure that every grain of sand is different, every snowflake is different, every leaf on a tree, on any tree, is different in some way, and all 8 point, whatever it is, billion of us are one of a kind, wonderful, unique in our talents, gifts, and ability, and the way we show up. That's the power I get to plug into. Some people call it God, some people call it Allah, I call it love, and my UPS man, my universal power source that delivers every time, every day, that I am open to that. And everyone that I meet, everything that happens to me is exactly in the timing and the order and all of that as it should be. And I feel very much in the flow when I make a point to connect. And so all of that happened while I was on location. It continues to happen here, continues to attract cool people onto my show. And today we have two individuals that are going to talk about some things that we can do for ourselves, which is, the bottom of the bun. How do we take responsibility for our own mental health? So I appreciate my ability to be in the flow. I appreciate my ability to care. I appreciate my ability to toot my own horn when it's appropriate. And that way I'm not looking for love or approval in all the wrong places. I know who I am. I bake my own cake. That's in my 8 Ways to Happiness book. Those of you who don't have that, please get it, because it's a steroidal book. It's a self-help on steroids. If you'd like a free audiobook copy, then tune in on Mondays when I do Mental Health Mondays, pretty much every Monday, and I give you a free copy of that audiobook. So yes, that's this little baby here. And I had a great time, sold out down in San Diego again. But anyways, let's see. I think we're done with breakfast. Thank you for joining me this morning. I hope you continue this good life habit, this hashtag Blisscipline, in the ability to start your day in the most positive way. Thanks for joining me for breakfast. And now for the topic of the day. Everything is awesome. That's what it says on there. And what we are going to do is have two very special interviews. And the first one, let me give you a little introduction on her. And she is, all right. she's been on my show before, Monica Mohindran, and she is someone, let's see, I just love sarcasm as another service I offer. Stacked emails. All right, here we go. Monica Mohindran. Okay, that's not the one. I have two interviews, and I am pulling up the same one. That is not. Is this the one? Yay, I found it. So you're going to hear from Monica Mohindra. She's the director of the Veterans History Project. And I thought I had a bio for her. Here she is. She's the director of the Veterans History Project of the American Folk Life Center at the Library of Congress. So in over 15 years with the project, she's coordinated major initiatives with members of Congress, the National Museum of the American Indian, the National Endowment for the Humanities, PBS, Ken Burns/Florentine Films, the History Channel, and many more. Before joining the library, she worked on various communications in a variety of theater companies, including the Smithsonian's Discovery Theater, Arena Stages, Living Stage Theater Company, and the Washington Rebels. She's the spouse of a U.S. Navy veteran, and we're going to hear from her now. I did this interview actually when I was on location. But I'm going to share it with you now, and enjoy.
Hello, Monica. So nice to speak with you again.
Thank you so much, Dr. Marissa. I'm happy to be back with you.
Yes, every year I love to honor National Vietnam War Veterans Day. And as you will all remember, I had Monica Mohindran here with me in studio last year, and I invited her back. So here she is to tell us how we can take part in a nationwide effort to collect stories for veterans.
So happy to be with you today. The Veterans History Project is really interested in engaging you and your listeners in this important national effort.
Absolutely. So how can we help in this project, and what is it?
It's really three things at once. It is this national effort, as we just said, both of us, created by Congress through unanimous legislation in October of 2000. That law that founded it was really a mission statement for all of us together to collect, preserve, and share the firsthand experiences of U.S. military veterans, those who served from World War I through the current conflicts all across the country. At the same time, because it started almost 25 years ago, housed at the Library of Congress, it is already an existing archive of those same kinds of stories, 121,000 of them, that ensure that future generations will hear directly from those who served, in their own words, unfiltered. And finally, it is the opportunity your listeners have been waiting for to get engaged in making history themselves, by gathering and collecting and contributing the stories of the veterans and their lives to our nation's library, the Library of Congress.
That's amazing, and it's wonderful to know a project like these where tax dollars are going to honor our veterans. And I wanted to recognize too, this is the 50th anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War, and what a wonderful way we can all participate.
Oh, we lost the audio on that. Hold on one second. All right. Technical difficulties. They sent me the recording. Let's see if I can, when all else fails, refresh, right? But I'm so glad that she was able to come on again. And this time the actual celebration, I think last time we were celebrating the veterans that actually provided services, mail services. So there was
Hello,
like,
Monica.
okay,
So
here we
nice.
go. Let's see if we
It
can.
is the opportunity your listeners have been waiting for to get engaged in making history themselves by gathering and collecting and contributing the stories of the veterans and their lives to our nation's library, the Library of Congress.
That's amazing, and it's wonderful to know a project like these where tax dollars are going to honor our veterans. And I wanted to recognize too, this is the 50th anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War, and what a wonderful way we can all participate to help. Now, what kinds of support or the process in doing this? I know it's very easy, but I want you to tell us all about it.
Absolutely. The Vietnam veterans have a unique and complex story to tell, and the time is now as we mark 50 years since the war's conclusion. This is a great opportunity to share with the Vietnam War veteran in your life or gather the documentation of their first person experience through original photographs, letters, diaries. Join us on the Library of Congress Veterans History Project website, which is LOC for libraryofcongress.gov, G-O-V for government, /vets, V-E-T-S for veterans. And what you can do there is see the forms to ensure that your veteran retains their copyright, that we have all the correct information about them as they contribute and you help them contribute their story. It really is as simple as connecting to that website through the computer maybe you carry in your pocket or going to the local library or community college to hop onto a computer there, step in somewhere, stop by a friend's house, take a look at the over 121,000 collections we already have. Over 80% of those present some form of digitized content for those individuals, and you're hearing unmediated, raw material directly from those veterans, just through the website. And by listening to those that are already existing and listening to the veteran in your life, you are helping to preserve, share, and create history.
It is, and you get Dr. Marissa's 1,000% endorsement on this project. I do so much more than saying thank you for your service. And as usual, thanks for coming on, and I know you have a line to go to, so I won't keep you, but thank you so much for all that you do. Monica Mohindra, the director of the Veterans History Project of the American Folk Life Center, and we are so grateful that we have something we can take an action on to honor our veterans. Thanks so much, Monica.
Appreciate you, Dr. Marissa.
Absolutely.
And that was the first of 2 public service interviews that I am giving you today. I know it's usually Throwback Thursday, but these were important enough for me to do a whole show on. We have coming up right after the break another great interview. It's about getting ready for April Fools and fooling ourselves around something that none of us like to admit, and that or none of us like to necessarily celebrate, which is healthy eating. But I have Pamela Bede coming back on. She was on last year. She's a global nutritionist for Abbott's Lingo business. She's a registered dietitian and a certified specialist in sports dietetics with extensive experience in sports nutrition, weight management, and pediatrics. She served as an adjunct instructor at Sinclair Community College and Miami University and as a clinical dietitian at Dayton Children's Medical Center. As an accomplished author, Pamela has contributed to multiple publications, including Fuel the Fire and Sweat, Eat, Repeat. She's an elite athlete herself. She's completed over 30 marathons and an Ironman triathlon. She leverages her personal experience to provide practical nutrition guidance to athletes and active individuals. In her current role at Abbott, Pamela focuses on utilizing bio-wearables to enhance health, wellness, and performance. She combines her knowledge of nutrition science and sports to translate clinical data and real-time analysis, new word, insights into educational content and guidance. And that is who's coming on live in 4 minutes. So we're going to take a quick break for news, weather, and traffic. Don't go away. We'll be back in 2 and 2. That's Chuck Woolery's, but mine is peace in, peace out. Thanks for joining me. I'll be right back. Don't go away.
Well, she has been dubbed the Asian Oprah, and she just wants all of us to be happy.
Dr. Marissa, aka the Asian Oprah, says the most important thing you can choose is choosing to be happy.
You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa.
That's the idea for Dr. Marissa Bede's new book called 8 Ways to Be Happy.
Many of us say, I am my own worst critic. Nobody's harder on me than I am. And my response to that is, stop it! Why are you doing that to yourself? You have to be your biggest fan, because if you can't at the end of the day say, I did a good job, who is? We don't have to constantly be angry at the things that are wrong. Why don't we choose to be happy about things that are right? We have the choice. That's our muscle. And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Bede.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, home to the Asian Oprah, and #1 talk in the IE. Thanks very much. And streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course my Show Central, my YouTube TV channel, which houses all 1,357 podcast shows. But who's counting? And I'm so delighted that I'm still here after 673 consecutive weeks. I know it's very hard to believe. It's hard to believe myself, but I am so grateful that I am still here, even though people did not think a show that did not talk about the headlines, did not rant and rave about who done who wrong or politics or gossip would last. But I'm glad to be very happy to know that I am actually here. And I am getting ready to interview live my second of 2 PSA interviews that I was going to bring you, that I'm bringing you today. I know it's usually Throwback Thursday, but both of these interviews are so important for you to know about. And she just popped into the studio. Please welcome Pam and I don't have it up to pronounce it. I'll let you do that. I'm just going to say hi, Pam. Welcome back to the studio. Can you hear me?
Thank you very much for having me. Yes.
Absolutely.
I can hear you.
I had no idea that you were such an accomplished actual triathlon athlete. So you practice what you teach.
I do try.
Yeah. Well, welcome back. I spoke to you last year. This year, I love the play for getting ready for April Fool's Day. We're going to fool ourselves. Tell me what we're fooling ourselves about.
Well, we're thinking through some of the foods that we love to eat, but eating them in a way that's better for our glutes and for our metabolic health. Because I think a lot of the times, whether it's April Fool's Day or all year round, we're kind of fooled by our foods, right? We have foods that we think work for us, we think they're healthy, but we don't feel optimized afterwards. And a lot of times it has to do with our glucose. So today we're going to learn how to make changes to our foods and why glucose matters.
Fantastic. Now, 30 marathons, 6 books authored, and today it's a science-backed way to outsmart glucose spikes with Abbott's first ever consumer continuous glucose monitor. Now, why should we try to fool our food?
Well, it all has to do with glucose. And glucose has to do with, well, everything. So glucose is one of the main sources of fuel in our body. Fuels our brain, fuels our muscle, really fuels our day-to-day. But glucose fluctuates a ton throughout the day. And how our glucose fluctuates, what our glucose level is at, impacts our metabolic health. But also what it impacts how we're feeling, right? Our sleep, our focus, our mood, our health, and so much more. But the only way we know what glucose is doing is to track it. And how we track it is with continuous glucose monitors, or CGMs, like Lingo by Abbott. Because Lingo gives you that minute-by-minute insight into how your body's responding, right? What foods are working for you? What exercises? What is stress doing to you? It's kind of data in the palm of your hand, so you start to see how you're responding, and then you can make changes that work for you.
I was just reflecting, I don't know outside of turkey at Thanksgiving how food really impacts me. So this is like good information to know on a pretty real time. Like how does that work on the measurement?
So Lingo combines a biosensor that rests on your arm and pairs it with a smart. So a biosensor on your arm stays there for 14 days. I like to call it proof. So sweat, swim, shower, all the things. And it's pulling minute-by-minute glucose data. And it's sending it to your smartphone app where you're seeing it in real time. In graph form, understanding trends and kind of inputting, tracking your food, your exercise, other things across your day. So you're starting that correlation. What you're doing, what your glucose is, and how you're feeling. Lingo is its first consumer CGM. And think of it as a tool that gives you real-time insights into how your body's responding to food. And in a manner that, instead of guessing, you can see exactly which foods are working for you, so you can tweak your habits and your choices accordingly.
So are there other ways we can manage our glucose and fool our food in the process?
Oh, certainly. So let's look through different hacks and tweaks we can make to our foods. Let's start with oatmeal for breakfast. A lot of us eat oatmeal for breakfast plain, and it kind of gives you that energy surge and then a crash, right? You feel it a few hours later. What that is your glucose responding, right? But instead, if you add in some healthy fats from nuts, if you add in some fiber, some chia seeds, some berries, you're basically slowing down digestion with that fiber and the fat, and you're giving yourself a steadier glucose. Same with toast, right? So instead of eating just plain toast, add some hard-boiled eggs, add some avocado. You're adding protein and fat. So not only are you slowing that release of glucose, you're staying fuller longer because of the extra nutrients on your plate. Instead of something like a very ripe banana, did you know that bananas that are a little bit more green actually influence your glucose differently. You can see it in the palm of your hand with your Lingo data, but because that starch hasn't converted fully to sugar or as much, it's a different response in your glucose, and you feel different. Another thing is resistant starch. So many of us don't love leftovers, but leftovers can actually be better for your metabolic health, because when you have pasta, rice, potatoes, you've refrigerated them and you form something called resistant starch. So when you eat that starch hours later, it's slower to absorb, slower to digest. It's a type of dietary fiber that is beneficial for your metabolic health. So it's kind of like pasta and eat it too, but with a steadier glucose.
That's great. And it's like this information is now available. It's not just, going to the doctor to get it or, testing for as diabetics. This is like something that anyone can use, as I understand it.
Lingo is over the counter. So if you're over 18 and not using insulin, Lingo can be a great fit for you. And you can get it out of prescription.
Great. How do people get more information about this or get one and explore more?
Yes, you can do all of that by visiting doubleheader.com.
Fantastic. Anything else that I didn't ask you about that you'd like to share?
It's just important to remember. We all have glucose. It changes throughout the day. Everyone responds differently to their day, but your glucose matters. It influences your health today. It influences your health tomorrow. So understanding how your glucose is responding and using tools like CGMs, like Lingo, to help you understand so you can make changes does make a difference.
And it's very easy to use, it looks like, from all of the visuals. One more time, how do people get more information and fool yourself into better health?
Yes, you can find all that at HelloLingo.com.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Pam, for joining me again and providing us with great public service, getting ready for April Fools, fooling yourself into good health. Thanks again, and we'll probably see you next year.
Thank you.
Thank you. And wasn't that interesting and learning? Yeah, I definitely know that my understanding of what food does to my body, the only thing I know that I love, everybody knows I'm a foodie, that it totally is something that I'm all about taste, I'm all about texture, I'm all about presentation, but I'm not really good about what it actually does to my body. So that definitely looks like something I need to look into further and want to investigate, because it is true. I just told on myself, I really, outside of the sleepiness on Thanksgiving, that was what all I knew until actually this last, I want to say couple of years, I've been looking into my own intolerance or tolerance of carbs, not carbs, gluten. And different than glucose, but the gluten sensitivity I have, I noticed that when I did have bread, or pasta, I bloated. And I had no clue that that was actually because I have a sensitivity to gluten. And so I went from, to be honest, telling on myself again, I went from when people would say, oh, I'm on a gluten-free diet, or, I can't have gluten, I would, like many people, roll my eyes. OMG, here we go. Sensitive about this, sensitive about that, and now you can't have that, and you're going to make everybody change the menu for dinner because of you. And I'll have to be honest, I was one of those. And until I discovered that I am also not as extreme, but certainly I do have some physical reactions. I'm allergic to cilantro. When I had my first kid, I was allergic to shellfish, and thank God, after my second kid, I became allergic to shellfish. So your body's makeup, your body sensitivity, your body's functioning, your glucose levels, as we just heard from Pam, is so important to keep a finger on, a tracker on, and now Abbott has created something that we can all use, and it goes on your, I think it goes on your phone as well. So that was good. I hope you enjoyed that interview as much as I did, and as well, just another prop for the Library of Congress Veterans Project. My bonus dad, you've heard me talk about him quite a bit, Graham or Marty, is a Korean War veteran. And it's so, a lot of pride for, what he went through for our country and his service. And the whole project is a way to capture, he's not quite comfortable talking about it yet, but I know that, especially now, my bonus mom is now on the other side in heaven, and so there's time for us to sit and work on that. So Library of Congress, the Veterans Project is something that I want you to do as a call to action today, as well as look into Lingo, the Abbott glucose monitor, so you can fool yourself into better health. Nutrition, smart nutrition swaps that can help your energy, metabolism, and health. All right, so I got 2 public service announcements not out of the way, but as I had planned for this show. We do have, how much time do we have left? We have like 8 minutes, or 10 minutes. And what I'd like to do is, you know what I would like to do? This is throwback too. I'm going to have you, I haven't done this in a while. Let's see, where should I find this? I'm going to find, it's perfect, my short film is about that time. And if you haven't, I've had people ask for this particular film to watch it. And now I get to actually show it to you. So this is a short film that I put together during COVID. And it is a film that I actually got to create. During COVID, all of my motivational speaking gigs went away. And David, in his beautiful write-up about me, talked about how during COVID, reinventing myself one more time to look at this thing called life. I think we all reflected more during COVID. Who am I? What am I doing here? What do I like to do? Why am I unhappy? Why am I happy? So that is why I put this together. So I'm going to share this tab and let you watch this. Okay. been a tough, horrible, unanticipated, unprepared for, crappy year called the pandemic. But before we rush back to normal, a normal where there were a lot of overworked, underpaid, angry, frustrated, and depressed people who hated their jobs and lived for their weekends, can we consider a new normal? Take a breath with me. And consider a new PPP, post-pandemic possibilities. What if conforming to the world was exploring the world? What if the question, what do you want to be when you grow up, little girl, turns into, how many streets of life do you want to explore? What if there was another way to grow up believing in yourself so that you don't have to attend the school of hard knocks? What if the current push to do well in subjects that you are not good at, or choose a school that you can't afford, or to declare a major when you are still a minor in life, are not the pressures that cook us raw? What if there was another career path where words like rat race and dog eat dog and climbing or clawing our way to the top are not in our career ladder vocabulary? What if big business control and imbalance, resulting in people stuck in jobs they hate, contributing to dreams that are not their own, were BS belief systems that had to be called out? Like cookies that had to be deleted in our mind browser. What if the lesson in the pandemic is that the trajectory that we have been on needs a hard reset? What if the real violence in our society is currently structured to help a few and hurt many? What if we could say, help our own and help others in the same breath? What if we grew up with global patriotism instead of warring nationalism and not afraid of helping socialism? What if we were taught how to see past skin color and learn how to value others for who they are? What if you were taught how to value who you are, especially when value was not found growing up at home? What if I knew I was important without anyone telling me? What if I knew that I was of value so that I didn't have to go around asking people to appraise me? What if world peace started with an okayness with ourselves, who we are, and what we think in the imperfect, perfect persona that we splatter on this world? What if we learned self-care skills so that we wouldn't thrash about so much when we were in the middle of the dis-ease with life? What if we could care for others without hurting myself? What if we valued ourselves enough to take care of our own selves, our body, our mind, and our soul? What if we each took responsibility for our own choices and quit blaming others when we insist on dragging our past along with us as an excuse to behave badly? What if we learned relationship skills as soon as we learned addition, subtraction, and how to dissect a frog? What if we knew that all life was valuable, even when we disagreed on how people were living? What if we cut people some more slack when we know they should know better, but because of their own humanness, they temporarily missed a take? What if the purpose of life is not to die with the most toys to leave our squabbling relatives? What if the purpose of life was to do things that we enjoy most of the time, have relationships that we enjoy most of the time, and use our unique talents, gifts, and abilities to fully express in the dash between birth and death? What if there is nothing to be afraid of? What if everything that happens to us is for our divine and best good, even if it doesn't feel good? What if death is not that big of a deal? What if the concept of death is not the hill we want to die on? What if tragedy is not really tragic? What if people dying in tragedy has purpose in releasing more love that we may have trapped inside our minds and our bodies? What if challenges that we face because of skin color or physical limitations or gender or our differences are all conditions that can grow and chisel and elevate us into the most magnificent of sculptures? What if I can turn every single bad, shitty thing that ever happened to me into rich fertilizer to birth and grow all of the potential that I was born with? What if life does not suck? What if I knew I was one of a kind wonderful, that I had a unique gift, talent, and ability to unleash on life one glorious year, day, month, and season of life? What if, as a direct result of this horrible pandemic, we could rise out of the ashes with the new PPP, post-pandemic possibilities? Well, you can. You can rise. You can live in my what if. It just starts with choosing happiness. Choosing to love this thing called life and drop the rock of BS belief systems that have tricked you into thinking that you are not enough. Because all of this is possible if you choose to believe in you first and foremost. Because the buck stops right over here. With you, with me, and with us. The sooner you turn "it's impossible" to "I'm possible," the what ifs become possible too. Because you are loving, lovable, and loved, wrapped in a warm blanket of worthiness. But it may start with getting out of bed and making it. What if starts with you. Hi, I'm Dr. Marissa, broadcasting live from this thing called life, trying to get you to drink my rose-colored Kool-Aid and join my Happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I haven't actually watched that for a while, so I am so delighted that I had time during this alternative to my Throwback Thursday. I got 2 PSA interviews in, plus a little bit of throwback on the short film that was actually inspired by listening to the fabulous poet laureate during the inauguration of Biden. And I have great memory, but my recall sucks. And all of a sudden her name just flew out of my head. But you know, when David reminded me of this short film that I created during COVID because of all of my motivational speeches being canceled. And I think I started the show talking about being in the flow. And I woke up with these words that you heard throughout that short film. I wrote them down. I sent them to my longtime friend Mary, and she read it and she's like, OMG, let me send this off. And I said, no, I feel like it needs to have more than just the words, and that I wanted to further my creative juices, drink a little more, and put the music and the clips to it. And I hired someone in my building, a friend of a filmmaker, to produce this, co-produce this, as well as, an editor that I got on Fiverr, actually, to put this together. And I'm very, very, very grateful that it actually got one laurel for short film out of the chute, because I was in the flow, and I totally love creating. And for me, creation is just like life on steroids. So I am so grateful that I got to share that with you. That is free, available on my YouTube TV channel. Please share. People didn't know quite what to do in the film circuit, because it's a motivational film. So I'm very fortunate I got one laurel, but it's used now. People play it for school assemblies, and I'm happy to come along with the film. We use it on workshops when we're working with anyone who wants to break out of the bounds from corporate to school systems. So that is also a way to use this. It's one you can use. I have people who are in book clubs, and they want to have something to discuss when they're taking a break between books. There's a lot packed in there, so that you can use it in any kind of discussion, because hopefully you hear the inspiration, and that is something that is a gift to you for me. And her name is Amanda Gorman. I talk about her all the time. I've not reached out to her. I would love to have her on the show, but certainly we all have a gift with words. If you have a brain and you're able to use speech, words, we can all write something, whether it's a thank you note to others or thank you note to yourself. Start there, because I want us to really juice our lives. That's what I'm all about. Thanks for joining me today. And you've got a nice hodgepodge of things to think about and to remember. What's your keeper for today? I think I'm going to add this. What's the one thing that you want to remember about today's show? Mine is remembering that, wow, I put this little short film together during COVID, and I appreciate and pat myself on the back for that. All right. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever. We'll see you tomorrow. It's Straight Talk with Ricky Rebel.
Take back your life.